gotta rejoin the thing on my computer.
It's all good. Take your time. Claude, go ahead. It's all you.
Okay, so what we got here is the last time we visited the Davis LLC's business, he ran across a little mishap, little misfortune. He caught fire. So he put the insurance in, and basically Joe Blow's fire sheetrock and reconstruction came on out and rebuilt the buildings over the weekend. Unfortunately, the hardware that we had last time pretty much got RMA'd. I think it was a lot of smoke damage. So he got some new stuff. Now, he also got some extra money with that insurance that he had. And as you see, we got a few more devices to the topology. So what we got to do is simulate. Let me see. Brian was here last time. Twan was here last time. Yeah. So what you guys remember, you guys built the access switches and you added the VLANs. You remember that? So we're gonna have to go through that process all over again. And what I can do is in the project section of Slack, I will basically put the commands of what we did when we created those 4 VLANs. So what we'll do is we'll create them 4 VLANs again and go through that process. Everybody, if they got access to a keyboard and everything, they can go through that process there. All good. And as you see, the difference this time around in the topology compared to last time, if you remember the last time, Dave LLC only had budget for 4 access switches per building. As you see the topology now, we're looking at 8 access switches. Okay. And instead of 1 distro switch per building, now we got 2 of them. And everything's going to be connected to 1 core. So this is basically, again, this is the classic 3-tier campus layout. And like I said, I gave you guys the Cisco CVD that's in the lab project as well. That talks about the typical access layer, the typical campus access distribution and core layer layouts with these switches. So with that being said, who wants to go up first and enter those commands that I dropped into the lab project, or unless you already remember them from the last go around?
Claude, me being the customer, I do have a question.
Yeah, what's that?
Can I request for you guys to have a way to where my distro switches can distribute VLAN configuration to my access layer switches?
Yeah, we can actually implement VTP. So
what's that?
What we'll do is the VLAN trunking protocol basically is a way for the switches to talk amongst themselves and determine, based on the typical server client model, what VLANs we need to propagate throughout the topology. So what that actually spells out in layman's terms, where each of you guys on my team had a switch assigned to you and you created your own VLANs and gave them names, what we can do is we can actually set the access switches up in client mode to the point where they will receive VTP information from a distro switch. And the distro switch can be set up to server mode where that distro switch will have the VLANs created, and those VTP frames will actually propagate to the access layer switches that they're connected to and automatically create those VLANs for us.
I like that, automatically. Okay, yeah, because I'm dumb and I don't know anything about networking. This is why I hired you guys. So this is perfect. Okay.
So what we can do is, if we got a couple individuals that's new to the group that want to get a little taste of creating the access layer switch, we can do that. because we got plenty of switches per building, and then we can use the rest of them for VTP purposes if you like. So let me see here.
Now, is there something that we need to do prior? Do we have to do the VTP configuration a certain way so we don't mess up anything, or what?
Yeah. So what we want to do is when we go into the access layer switch, what we want to do is we want to actually set VTP. We want to create a domain name, and matter of fact, I'm pulling out a notepad now and jotting down some things here.
And I believe, because I already stood up my Windows server.
Okay.
Working with my Windows admin, Zach, we actually have a domain name called textofcolors.net.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to use that.
Yeah, I could use that.
For me and Zach to use that, just so we're, make things less complex,
Yeah, we could do that. If you would send me a direct message on Slack as far as the proper spelling. That way I know whether you're using caps, whether you're using lowercase, if you're using a number 3 instead of an E, all that good stuff. Just send me the actual name. Okay, text of color in that fashion.
And do you need me to add any of your new employees to the customer
directory
and vendor lab project?
Let me see, who all do we have in here? We have Brian should be on there. Twan should be on there. Adamola may have to be added.
He's there. Yeah, he's there.
Okay. Who's this? Kelvin. He may have to be added. Zach may need to be added. Okay.
Zach's
and I think Jermaine's already grandfathered in there from the beginning.
Yeah, he's already in. And what I'll do is, I won't do it today. I'll work with Zach on it later, but I'm going to need you to help me also set up AAA authentication. And me and Zach is going to create user accounts for all of your employees.
Okay.
To manage this with, just to make it a little bit more secure. Okay.
Okay, that'll work.
Awesome. All right. So these are just tell me where you want to get started, and I'll go ahead.
All right. Let me see. Brian, are you did you ever get back to a keyboard, or are you still on your phone?
Yeah, I'm back on. I logged into a different computer.
Okay. So do you still have your notes from when you created the VLANs, or if not?
I remember the configs and stuff.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is you will start at the very top on the left-hand side, access switch number 1. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you can go ahead and configure that one with the VLANs there. Let me see, who else do we have?
One.
And Claude, I do have additional requests as well.
Yes. Yeah, I'm listening.
For our maintenance window, just because me and Zach have to come right back in the morning at 8 to help stand up some of our employees. So we have to set this maintenance window for only an hour. So we need to end at 8:38.
Okay.
And then we can go ahead and once we can close out the network then, and then whatever we don't get done, we can save the next maintenance window.
Okay.
We just want to get as much done as possible. And we spent 15 minutes after just talking about the network so far.
Hold on, you said 8:38?
9:38, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Quick question: is this the 2-hour window or the 1-hour window?
This 1-hour window starting now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I got 8:38 Eastern time.
Oh no, I was asking. I thought tonight's session was going to be a 2-hour window, so that's why I was asking.
No, okay. On the side note, I got pulled away, so that probably jacked that up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know Dave was. I know Dave was talking all kinds of smack while I was gone. You know.
He had your back. He had your back.
Never trust me, Claude. You never trust me. It's okay. I'll be honest.
Well, he definitely had your back, Claude. He had your back.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. I'll have to I'll have to throw in a login banner for free on one of these devices or something.
Okay. And Claude, which employee am I giving access first?
So we'll be giving it to Brian, the team lead.
Okay. And can you just make your employees aware, whatever they're configuring, they need to announce what they're configuring so I can know what they're doing prior to?
Right.
Thank
okay.
You.
Yeah, Brian. So when you get done what you're configuring, make everybody aware. That way I can actually take a snapshot for change management purposes.
Gotcha.
And document that into the lab project folder.
Gotcha. Cool. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Brown, you have access?
All right, cool.
And do you need me to make the font bigger? Are you okay?
I was gonna say, yeah, I was struggling real bad.
Remember our last session, you didn't have your bifocals on, so I'll go ahead and
blind. I don't got no co-pilot.
Bring that thing to about a 14. There you go. Yeah, that's legible there.
Trying to think, I got tunnel vision over here, man.
Yeah, go ahead, color and book size. There you go, Mr. And Claude, if you can just, I know you're the senior network engineer for this entire team. Can you explain again what you're configuring on each of these access layer switches?
Yeah. So basically, we in the original SOW, we're basically setting up layer 2 connectivity for now for 150 employees within his company. So,
hey, Mr. Claude, sorry to cut you off. What is your employee doing? That isn't the name of the VLANs. I have the name of the VLANs on the diagram.
Well, let me see. Okay, so we've had a change. Okay. All right. So let me make the changes on my end here.
No worries. Thank you.
Native execs 30.
And this is where in the 40. Background y'all talk junk about the customer.
Not making them last minute changes.
Making stupid changes. Why are you going to do that? Why you couldn't just keep the same configuration, same stuff? Just always gotta make changes, son.
All right, let me poke.
But this is, I'm a sidestep out of the customer role. This is what I mean about announcing everything that you're doing. Don't just start typing away, right?
Gotcha.
And this is good practice for you whenever you're getting ready to take your exam, your CCNA, CCNP, because whenever you're dissecting that question, talk it out. Don't give a crap who's next to you. All right, and you look at a question, you talk it out, and be like, oh, okay, it's that, rather than trying to do it in your brain. You might mess up.
All right. So I made documentation into the lab project folder of the name change of the VLANs.
Gotcha.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm actually going back down to actually go ahead and configure the host name on it. And I'm actually naming it me, since I'm the person that's going to be over this switch.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I'm doing now is going into the VLAN config mode, so I can go ahead and configure the VLANs, their names, which VLAN 10.
Why are we naming the switch your name, sir?
Because it says host name of the person for the switch.
Yeah, so Mr. Customer, what this does is this allows us to identify that switch a lot better.
Okay.
By default, all these switches are the same name, and in the event of, let's say if I'm sitting in the distro switch, and I want to get an idea of what I'm connected to, and there are commands where I can see these neighbors through the CDP protocol. If by chance all these switches have the same host name, it's going to be extremely hard to identify which switch with everything connected at the same time up and running. So by Brian naming the host name after himself, this gives us a lot more clarity as far as specifically more finite what switches are we actually dealing with on what ports.
Got it. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Go on.
Gotcha. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going in and configuring VLAN 10. This one's going to be the native VLAN. So we're going to go ahead and name this one. Oh, wait, hold on. Go ahead and name this one native. So once we do that, now we're going into VLAN 20. And then we're going to name this one execs. And then
and Claude, I just want to make sure I understand correctly.
Okay.
Are we doing the individual VLAN configuration on each access switch, or I thought you were telling me about some protocol?
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of them first manually because we got a couple new individuals that might get their hand at the CLI, so we can get them into the process manually, and then we can go automated after that.
Copy that. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, and what we're doing was we just named VLAN 30 finance. Now we're actually naming VLAN 40 facilities. Oh shoot, hold on.
The next time you want to go to the beginning of that line, there's a shortcut, Control A, that'll do that very thing. Perfect. Just keep that in mind.
Writing that down now.
Okay.
All right, and we're going to do VLAN 99. And then we're also going to go ahead and name that one the management VLAN.
You can type it in MJ, the shorthand version that he got in there. There you go. Okay.
All right, so guys, now what I did was I'm actually going to go ahead and write this so I can basically save the configuration. That way we can make sure that this is pretty much saved successfully. Once it's successfully saved, we're going to go ahead and get our senior Claude to go ahead and do a screenshot of that so we can go ahead and get it put in our lab project. So right now it's building and writing the configuration.
Okay, Brian, do this for me real quick. Show VLANs. We just want to do a confirmation that they've been created as well as named. All right, so we got 10, 20.
I just want to shout out Brian. Good stuff. You know why? I'll say it in a second, but good stuff.
All right, let me take a document. Let me document this here for change management. Stand by.
So guys, here's why I want to give kudos to Brian. Cybersecurity guy, no network experience whatsoever. He just started studying for his CCNA. All he was going to do was show VLAN, and it was just going to show a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff. He remembered that we ran that show VLAN brief just to show the VLANs that's configured, not no extra, private VLAN and remote VLAN stuff on it. So, Brian, good stuff, for real.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm learning, man. I'm trying.
All right, documentation has been added to the folder. Good deal, man. Good deal.
Okay, Claude, who's your next employee I need to give access to?
Let's see who we got in here. Twan, how you feeling, man? Well, let me see. We got, let's say, Kelvin. Kelvin's new.
Yes, sir. I can go ahead and go if you want me to.
Sure. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take access switch number 9 and have him go through the same process as well, where he'll change the host name to his name itself and create the same VLANs as well.
Okay, Brian, you have access. Switch is booting up.
No, that's going to be Kelvin.
I'm sorry.
Kelvin.
Calvin, sorry.
So you trying to put me on the spot again, man?
Well, you know, you what you say that last time we was on here about you getting that pressure, you wanting that smoke, something about that.
Hey, Kelvin, give me a second. There you go.
I ain't say none of that, Claude. I ain't saying nothing.
Oh, that's okay. My bad. You was asking why you was getting that smoke. Is that what that was?
Remove him from control so he can unmute himself.
There you
go. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I had myself on mute.
Oh, you good.
You have access now.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into configuration mode. And I'm going to change the host name to my name.
Kelvin, you good with the font size?
Can you go a little bit bigger? I can see it, but a little bit.
Yeah. We need at least 10 more years, 15 more years in our eyes.
Dang, sure David ain't gonna do
it. How goofy.
He wants you to be walking around with them bifocals and coat.
My eyes already bad enough.
Last time you had bifocals on, you was all the way on the camera. I thought you was kissing us. I was like, what you got going on, man?
Look, you the one had this font size in ant mode.
All right, so
I was all in the camera trying to figure it out. Then you want to take screenshots too.
All right, so I'm gonna go back into configuration mode. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right. So now I'm gonna start creating the VLANs. Sorry, I got to get a minute to leave my screen so I can see. The chat just popped up and blocked the part of the screen where I'm typing. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, that's just me. I was responding to Zach. Zach's having some issues on his laptop.
Okay. Is there a way I can hide this bottom bar with the participants and chat and everything?
Yeah, you should be able to minimize it or move it to, like, I don't know if you got one screen or two screens, but you should be able to minimize it. Whoopsies.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for some reason, mine actually disappears when I move off of the screen. I'm not sure what I did to.
Go ahead, Kelvin. Try to manipulate it now. I remove control from you.
Okay. See if there's some option to move this mess. It's not letting me just straight up move it. Let's see. See if there's some.
I have my view mode in standard. I'm not sure if that would actually have any leadway in where that bar pops up at.
Move standard.
Yeah, it says there's a little view icon up in the top right hand corner.
Yeah, mine's is standard as well.
Okay.
Video.
Zoom ratio is fit to window, and nothing else special on my screen.
Just give me a second. It usually when I click right there, it'll just go away. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to slow down the lab project. It's just this bar.
No, how about this? How about if the CLI window is adjusted a little bit further upward?
Right, yeah, you can minimize it for me a little bit.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
See if you can drag that down probably where the Windows server is. That should still give them plenty of room to view the CLI as well as...
Come up a little bit.
Yeah, come up a little bit. What is it, like one? It's like one extreme or the other?
I mean, I'm good right there. If that's
you
cool.
Good? You okay, okay.
All right.
There you go. You got control.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Now I'm gonna name VLAN 20 execs. I'm gonna move on to VLAN 30. And I'm gonna name that finance. Moving on to VLAN 40. I'm gonna name that facilities. And I'm gonna create the, let's see, VLAN 99. And I'm gonna name that management. So I'm gonna exit here, and then I'm gonna run show VLAN brief, just to verify all the VLANs I created are there, and they're created. So I'm gonna write the configuration now, so I can save it.
All right, let me take that snapshot there. Post it over here in Paint. Crop this out. Okay.
So
new changes have been documented and saved into the project folder. All right.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So who's next?
Let me see. Zach. Well, Zach's on the phone, so he wouldn't have keyboard access. Let me see.
No, he does. He's on a computer now.
He's on the computer? Okay. Zach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and go through the same process on access switch number 7. If following the same process, if anything's unfamiliar, I'm not quite sure if you got an iOS background or not, but we can definitely help you walk through it if need be. That's what we're here for.
I'm familiar with iOS, probably
okay.
not in this regard to doing what we're we're doing now, but
Okay.
I'll definitely give it my best effort.
Oh, it sounds like you got it under control. I got you. I hear you. I hear you.
Just gonna manifest it. Not we don't see it, but you know, faith is what you don't see.
That's it. That's
He's
it.
He's gonna break my switch. I'm gonna have to hard make this bad boy.
I might want to put insurance on it.
Hey, look,
I'm joking.
the best thing to do is talk through it. Talk through it.
There you go. Okay. Let's see. It's like, okay, hold on. How do I get this out of here? All right, stuff is moving kind of quickly. Hold on.
Yeah, it's booting up.
It's doing stuff.
And Zach, I'm gonna go ahead and give you remote control. So there you go. You got control of my screen.
Okay, hold on. It's like I think I have it in my mind, but I'm trying to figure out like.
Nah, and feel free to talk to your team. For real, if you need them to walk you through it, you got to stand on the island by yourself.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see, it's slow. Good gracious. Hold on. So hold on. Let me go up a little bit. Where is?
So if you need a little guideline as far as the sequence of commands, if you got access to your Slack on a little window near you,
I can pull it up on my.
yeah, and you'll see it posted at the 8:43 with the yeah, there you go.
That's what. I was gonna scroll up and look for it because I was like following along. Should have wrote that down.
Well, you won't be able to find it because the scrolling on this one here is on a brand new switch.
That's yeah. So I just noticed that. I was like, okay,
yeah.
Refer back to my. That's what I was gonna try to do. Okay, so I got the basic concept of this. So hold on. So, oh wait a minute, it's doing stuff. All right. Oh wait.
So here you want to take it out of enable mode.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to type in enable.
Gotcha. So a quick question. That's moving from privilege mode, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There you go. Now you can go into your config T or configuration terminal.
Which is what that stands for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I put the host name and then the name of the person.
Yep.
Is that the thing that I named?
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be yours. Keep the you forget the parenthesis. Don't worry about the parenthesis.
Don't worry about that. Okay.
There you go.
That thing? That's what I called it?
No. Your name. Your first Zach would be good.
Okay, that's fine.
And then what you'll do is you'll see it switch from switch to Zach. There you go. The host name. Yep. Now you want to go into creating your VLANs.
Get this up because I have it pulled to the side on my phone. So
Okay.
So I see the VLAN there. So I'm supposed to put that in, and then which one it is, and then it has specific names so you can like identify it like quickly. So if they're all called VLAN 1, it's gonna be hard to like troubleshoot like which one's acting crazy. So you can say, oh, it's the native one, it's the finance one, it's all that. So wait, I put it in like this, and then.
Yep. Now you're in VLAN config mode.
Yep, and then the name of it is native, so I put that in.
Watch the lettering.
Oh, is it case sensitive?
It can be, yeah. But yeah, it is. So in this case, let's
I didn't know that.
yeah, let's keep it capital. He has capital letters in there.
So
There
I
you
have
go.
it exactly as it's listed.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's good to know.
That way, if, and this is real world, if we come back and we're wrong, we know we got this information from the customer.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring them.
Exactly.
Excuse me. When me and I think his name was Brian, when we configured our switch, just looking back at the name of the VLAN, when we named it native, we only
We didn't
capitalized the N.
Yeah, and I'll take the hit on that one. I'll take the hit on that one because I actually gave y'all a golden config that was basically that was wrong. So I'll take the hit on that one with the customer.
So do we need to go back in and configure that one to change that VLAN name? Because we can.
Yeah, we can, or we can actually correct that with a VTP process later on.
Perfect.
Okay. But yeah, it makes sense for the sake of consistency, give it as presented. So, like you said, something happens. That's what it was given to me. So I get it. Wait, did that thing time out or I put it in?
No, you good. You just you got the VLAN 10. So you just go to VLAN. You create your VLAN 20 next and go and do the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay, because I saw like a prompt came up. It said it stopped, so I didn't know if it like timed out because I waited too long, or it actually like registered the.
Oh yeah, so that software is always doing stuff in the background.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And actually, when you're out in the field, real world, the console can probably scream at you for a whole bunch of various things that'll be going on. There's actually a way to silence that as well. But sometimes if something important is happening, you do want to know what that is.
Yeah,
So it just depends on the situation.
Depends on what it's trying to tell you, I guess.
Yeah. Because sometimes depending on the device that you're dealing with, it could be telling you something about a fan fault, a fan's failing or something like that kind of information you want to know about.
So you have to keep an eye on like what it's trying to tell you. Some of it may be not irrelevant, but not like front of the matter, like important.
Right.
Like needs your immediate attention.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, that's actually all CAD. Okay. And then that one is management. Okay. And then I do that. I think.
All right. So now what you want to do is you want to verify your VLANs by doing a show VLAN brief.
Yep, because the brief shows only this is the part where I try to sound smart, only the relevant something that you need and not the other other things that you don't need. I don't know yet.
Right. So we got extendeds on there. We got remote span VLANs on there. We got some token ring stuff on there. That stuff's not applying to us right now.
Right. So it gives you just kind of the meat of it, not.
Yep.
I'm trying to like that.
Show VLAN brief.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Okay, that looks good. All right. And for the very last thing, before you forget, go ahead and save that so that
before you say that, there's one other thing we need to look at too.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Execs 20. The wording is execs per the
Yeah,
how we have it written.
all caps. I think I gave y'all what, lowercase e XEXC. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see there's a lowercase s over there, so I just did it as seen.
But like you said, when we implement VTP, that should correct that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So Zach, if you would go ahead and save your write memory, which abbreviated with WR. Hit return, let it go through its process. And while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and take a snapshot. All right, that has been documented in change management in the project folder. Good deal, man. Good deal.
Hey, takes a village. Appreciate much.
All righty. Now let me see who else we got in here.
I know we're
Adamola.
coming up on our maintenance window. So
Yeah.
I know you're training your team. Do you want to start implementing the VTP stuff you told me about?
I want to see if Anamola want to get a shot at this here manual CLI.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
go for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Dave, if you would access switch number, what is that? 7? Is that? Oh, how come that one is in blue? No, the one that Zach just came off is gray.
Probably buggy.
Okay. All right.
It's on though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's open up that one there. Adamola, you got an idea of how to run through this?
Yeah, I guess so. I think so.
Okay. All right. If you get stuck, just shout out.
Yeah, sure. David, you're giving the wrong one. Can you give the one at the Ademola with the big A?
Say that one more time.
So I'm signing with 2 Ademola, one with my iPad, one with my laptop. So David, the Ademola with the big A is the one on my lap. I'm using it with my laptop.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see you signed in twice. I got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Try it now.
Okay, I see it. Okay. So first thing I think I would have to go to the enable mode.
Mm-hmm.
Then, oh, sorry, you have to.
Guys, remember, talk through exactly what you're configuring on the customer's box.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Ooh.
Claude, I'll let you give that reminder to the team.
Okay.
Now that's funny.
Yeah, since we recording, I wasn't gonna say nothing since we recording and all. Yeah, that'll be some topic after the recording goes off.
I gotta grow up. I gotta grow up.
Okay, I guess the first thing I would have to give it a name. So I'm gonna give it my name.
Okay, so there you go. There you go.
Okay. Okay. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm to give it the VLANs, which we spoke about. So I'll start with VLAN 10. I give it the name native. VLAN 20. I'll give it a name executive. VLAN 30. For the name finance. VLAN 40. Name facilities. And the last VLAN, which is VLAN 99. Name management. Okay, then going to end. And to show what I've done so far, I'm just going to use this command, show VLAN brief, to confirm what I've done.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me take a snapshot of that. Just give me a hot minute.
So does the snapshot come out to the right or the
Oh yeah, the right. Do you want to take the command short now, or should I use the right command?
Yeah, you can go ahead and write it now.
Okay.
If my Microsoft Paint act right, hold on a second. I'll explain that in a minute, Dave. All right. Snapshot has been saved to the lab project on Anamola. Good job, man. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take over from this point here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce VTP, the VLAN trunking protocol. And what I'm going to do is, let me set this up real quick. Dave, if you would give me control. I want to fire up one of these access switches. Okay. Let's see, that says I'm controlling
Got it.
screen. All right. Let me start that up. Uh-oh, did I grab it? I sure did. Let me let that go. What is the...
Yeah, so just click on it with the left click mouse, and then go up there and just click on open link.
Oh, I canceled it. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, let me open this here real quick before I get too involved.
And Claude, give me a second. I gotta let somebody in the room.
Okay.
Somebody just showed up.
All right.
Hey, Dave.
Claude, hold on. Stop.
Real quick.
Okay.
Claude, stop moving.
My bad. My bad. My bad.
There you go, Claude.
Okay.
I'll see what happens.
That's you. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, so let me do this. All right, so you said you want switch 20 to be the primary server, okay? Now here's where I'm going to go against the VTP version 3 and go with version 2 instead. Version 3, basically, we're looking at propagating extended VLANs. And the 4 VLANs we have don't necessarily fall into that category. So it would be almost an overkill. Does that make sense? So what we're talking about is...
It does.
So what we're talking about is VLANs from like 1007 up until 4096, where I think the highest VLAN we have is 99. Yeah, 99. So that's why I'm going to stick with the version 2 on this one here. Let me see if I can see VTP.
Perfect. And can we set a password?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And what I'm going to do here is on these access switches, I'm going to set these in client mode, okay, which basically is going to set these up where these access switches will, let me get this right. The clients will actually change the VLANs, but they won't be changed locally. They'll be accepting the VTP frames from the server itself. So let me go ahead and put the password in here. No. Let me do the domain first. Text of caller, capital C. Yeah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Let me set a VTP password. All right, I'm going to send you, Mr. Customer, the VTP password that I will be using in Slack. You see that there?
Perfect.
All right. Just do a quick status of what we put up here. So what we see, everybody's looking at this as well. We can see that the VTP mode is set up in client. All right. And we see that this here machine is capable of running version 1 through 3. Version 1 and 2 are actually backwards compatible with each other. You get a little sticky when you start getting into version 3. I think 3 is backwards compatible with number 2, but not number 1. So that can create problems there depending on what you're running in your topology. The domain name that we're using is text of color, okay? And also set a password, which is basically text of color, just the 3 letters TOC capital. So we're going to let that sit there for the time being. I'm going to open up this here next switch. You start that one up. And you said left click, open link. Okay, there we go, yeah. All right, let me go ahead and set this other one here to client mode as well. Just give me a minute. Put some size on this. Now this here VTP function, would you guys be expected to know this at the CCNA level? To a certain degree. And when I say that, we're talking as far as understanding what it's about, understanding the different modes of VTP. And when I say different modes, you have your client, you have your server, and then you have something known as transparent. Now, server and client is kind of self-explanatory as far as their functions. When you get a switch and you put it in transparent mode, what you're telling that switch is, all right, I'm a part of this here VTP domain. I'm not going to make any changes to my VLANs unless the changes are made locally, okay? Which means I'm on that switch like we did with the previous switches, y'all guys did with the previous switches. I'm putting them VLANs on there manually. So in transparent mode, in the VTP domain environment, the transparent mode switch will still take those VTP frames and will see them, but will disregard as far as making changes, but they will pass it on to another VTP client. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just remember, server, I see the VTP information coming in because I am basically, I'm dishing out what the changes need to be. That's how you see your server, you understand? The client hears these VTP frames and sees the actual VLANs that's actually being suggested, okay? And what it will do based off of something known as a revision number, it will go ahead and say, all right, I need to make these here changes on my VLAN database because I got a revision number that's much greater than mine's. And I'm going to go ahead and make the changes to VLAN 10, 20, 30, 90, 10, 20, 30, 40, 99, as well as the names of them. Okay, that's what the client does. The client just takes the instructions and follows suit. Does that make sense? Okay. And like I said, transparent's not going to participate in changing any of this stuff based on the frames that's coming in. But what he will do is take that information and pass it on to somebody who does want to make, who is set up to make that change, such as another client that they may be connected to. All right.
No, that makes sense. And I'm going to step out of the role of being the customer. I think what'll be great too. I know we're cutting close to time. Before we set the distro switch has the server.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to go ahead and do a packet capture from one of the switches that is acting as the client.
Okay.
And while you're, we're going to let Wireshark run in the background on that.
Okay.
Link.
Okay.
Once you become the master on the or the server on the distro switch. I want to see the packets coming in so that we can dissect that with the team after.
Okay. All right. So here you see where I just got into this switch, right? And I did a VTP status. And what you will see that this switch straight out the box, and this is real world, straight out the box is set up as a server. Okay. So that means that straight out the box, this switch, if you think about it, can do damage if introduced at the wrong time in the wrong place within a topology. And by chance, do you happen to understand why?
Yes, because if it's set as a server and you introduce it, it's going to send out, it's going to erase all the VLANs that's currently created because there's no VLANs.
Right. And this
You're on the right.
This is
on the right track.
Yeah, this is in an environment. Let's say, okay.
Yeah, let me jump in. So, Kelvin, I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
You're correct to an extent, but I think Claude's question was, why will it mess up? And it's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, anybody, please. Yeah, but this is more so just for Kelvin. I want Kelvin to answer this. Y'all can help him out, send him a ping on the side.
Oh, just because it's it's gonna mess up. You said because it's in server mode, right?
Close. And guys, help him out. Help him out. If you need help, Kelvin, go ahead and ping it. But there's something that Claude me and Claude is looking for. Me, Jermaine, and Claude is looking for.
Oh, it's running.
Why? Why
are we talking about MAC address? Since the new switch is gonna have a new MAC address, and it's
not quite. So Claude just highlighted it, right? So it's the revision number.
Okay.
It's the revision number, right? So, going back to what Claude said, if every switch out the box, right, comes out, has a, in server mode, right? And Jermaine, keep me honest here. The VTP topology, right? So that's what we're creating. Whichever server switch, right, in the VTP topology has the, I believe that has either the highest or the lowest. If we're talking about layers 2, I believe it's the lowest, but I may be wrong.
It's the highest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for keeping me honest. So whichever one is the highest, it'll go ahead and become that new server, right? And so if you added the, go ahead.
My bad. I was going to say, to add to that, or another question coming off of that, is how would it become, or how would it grow? How would it increase to become the highest? You know what I'm saying? How would that revision number increase from 0 to 1 to 2?
So every time a VLAN is added, it's a change that's happening.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that change. So if you add VLAN 1, come out of the VTP, the VLAN config mode, and let's say 10 minutes later you add VLAN 2, VLAN 20. Now what has happened is you went from revision 0 to revision number 1 when you was in the VTP mode that first time.
So question.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. I heard a question.
Does it track 2? Like, because if you configure 2 VLANs, or is 0 considered 1?
If you do, let's say 2 VLANs while you're still in that mode, that's still considered 1 revision.
Oh, because it was all done at one time.
Yeah. So if you actually, and I could be wrong, and we can actually test this as well later on. But if you create a VLAN, come out of it, do some other stuff, and then go back in and create another VLAN, that's an increment of another revision. As opposed to being in there, create VLAN, then come out of it. You follow me?
Exactly.
So ultimately, do you want to track that each VLAN that you add is 1 revision?
Well, not exactly, right? It like Claude was saying, it depends on the mode, right? If you're still in configuration mode and you configure 20 VLANs, and you exit out of there, you just made only 1 revision. So the revision number is just going to go up 1 number, right?
Yeah, I got that. Is it
I'm saying, is it recommended that you do one revision? Is it recommended that you do one revision at a time, or do you? How does that work? Would you prefer to do one revision and then go back, exit out, and then go back in again, so that it'll count as multiple revisions?
No. So whatever VLANs that you need to make change to, just go ahead and do them. Because the thing is, you know, through the course of a switch's lifetime, VLANs are going to get taken out. They're going to get added. Yep. They're going to get taken out. They're going to get added. They're going to get changed. So whatever it is that you need to do at that given time, you do that and don't even worry about the revision track, and the switch will take care of that portion there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, don't even get. I know that seems like a small detail, but yeah, don't even worry about that portion. And there are actually there's actually a snapshot in the CCNP question of the day, November the 23rd, I believe, of actual switches 3750s that actually have revisions that are much greater than 0. So you can get an idea of what that looks like. All right. So I'm going to take this from, like I said, we were in server, and we're going to go into client mode. All right. I think that's that. And then what you will see is this here server will change the client. Let me get this show VTP status. And you see, okay, so we got the existing VLANs. Hold on, let me see something here. So this is telling me, oh, okay. All right, those, yeah. All right, so that kind of threw me for a loop right there where it says existing VLANs. I didn't create
No,
any.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. But Brian, you were saying earlier as far as a revision. So we've made some changes to this VTP domain here. So that's a revision. That's a revision change in itself right then and there. So you see how that increments to 1?
I think he might be muted, but
okay. No problem.
To piggyback off of Jermaine's statement, just so it could all make sense, guys, and Kelvin, I know I left you in the dark a bit, but again, if we have a switch, right, that we configured a whole bunch of VLANs on, right? But we plug in a new switch that's in server mode that only has VLAN 1. What we ultimately did is we connected that switch to a working environment, and we added another, in the background, we added another VLAN 1 off of that new switch.
So
does that make sense?
Yeah, so is this the reason why I see a lot of people say VTP is not like recommended?
Exactamundo.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you do use it, like, right, what Claude said, you have to be very careful on when you configure it.
Yeah, because see, here's the thing. You get an old switch, and I think I actually used the example in the CCNP question, and this happens a lot. You know, you get some old switch because you need to do something, you need to add some host to an existing topology, because you know they just had the guys come in and they added another wing to an office, you know, and you get that old switch, and if that old switch still has the old domain name written on there and the password hasn't changed on it, so all that's going to be authenticated, okay? And if that switch has been out of service and none of that stuff has changed, let's say in the past year and a half, but there's been some VLANs that's been added to the actual running switches, and this switch that you pulled out the closet doesn't have these new VLANs on it, and you go to connect it, and if by chance, if its revision number is high enough to be superior to all the other revision numbers on the switch, some folks are getting ready to lose connectivity real fast. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And that'll be a fast way to lose your job too, probably.
Yeah.
Look, and while Claude configuring, I'll go ahead and tell y'all a nice little story that Dave did, and basically I brought down a hospital. So
oh shit. Oh,
so basically, me being excited, right? Got my CCNA. I was able to, give an opportunity to prove myself, right? And so, the network engineer that I was working with, he said, Dave, I need you to, configure the switch, pre-stage it, and get ready to put it in production. So did all that I did, did all the, configurations that he laid out for me, but, my knowledge was still like limited, right? And I didn't check for VTP, right? And so I didn't make any changes, didn't set it to client mode. I plugged it into the production environment. And guess what happened right after that, right? That became the server, right? For the VTP layer 2 topology. And I knocked out almost 100 VLANs, and alarms just started going off.
Oh man.
So yeah, I thought it was a wrap for me. I went ahead and started packing up. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm done. But luckily there was a way to revert. But say all that to say, Claude's right. Like, and I've heard it a lot, even with my places I've been and CCNA studies. Dude, if you're gonna implement this, really plan it out and take your time. Definitely.
So I have a quick question. Just looking at this topology here, I see you making all the access switches clients, and you're gonna make one of the distribution switches
a server.
A server, and all the other, you said it's transparent. Did you want them to learn the VLANs?
No. So all the access switches are going to be clients. So they're going to be listening for VLAN changes at the distro level, if that makes sense.
But as far as so the core switch wouldn't be part of the VTP domain at all.
No. The core is probably the only switch that really chills in this here type of topology.
And you wouldn't have to set the core as the transparent, since all the distribution switches are connected to the core switch.
You know what? That's a good point. So
boom.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So that would be best. Or what you can do is you could not have the core switch participate in the domain, such as you don't have to give it a password, so it won't authenticate whatever it sends. Okay. Or not have it have a domain name, but typically it would have the domain name because that's just uniformity across all the nodes. But to your point, you can put it in transparent mode or not have it do a password and authenticate with everybody else. Then that would keep it from, that would actually have it acting like a transparent as well, where if you put a VLAN on the core switch, you're gonna have to do it to the core switch itself.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to know. I was a little confused right there.
Oh, good. That was good. That was a good point. Good. Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, dude.
All right, so I'm going to set this as VTP version 2. Wait a minute. How did that go through?
No, because Claude, you could still set it in either exec mode or config mode.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let me set this password.
And guys, I got the capture going because I want you guys to see what we're gonna dissect. We're gonna probably finish up, be done probably around 10. So I want you guys just to see how the packet looks whenever that server is configured.
Okay.
And so when Claude's gonna probably create the VLANs, he can create a dummy VLAN too, just so we can see the changes and whatnot.
And where are you taking that capture?
That's that Wireshark you got sitting on the screen next door.
Yeah, I'm saying, are you taking it on a particular switch? Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing it on switch 8. So if you look at the top of the packet capture window,
okay, I see it now.
Switch 8. Yeah, all good.
Okay, I see it.
Ah.
So what, did I misspell something?
Yeah, you misspelled the domain name. Text of colors. It was just text of color.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, let me go back and change that. All right, so y'all see where that little mishap happened, right? Domain mismatch.
Unable
So
to perform trunk negotiation.
Yeah, so I actually added an S to the domain name, which threw off the whole thing. So let me just go ahead and make that.
So it didn't go through, or
No, it actually changed it. But what it was telling me was, hey, what you just configured will not participate with the other stuff you configured.
okay.
Yeah. So as you see, I took the text of color, and if you don't know, you can use the up arrow, and it's just like that. I think in some of the Linux applications as well. You're gonna hit the up arrow if you've already typed that command before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Text of color. All right. Now here's another thing that by me changing that domain name, whenever you get into a situation where you need to reset the revision, that is one way of doing it.
Mm.
So
I
if
was
you
waiting
get
for you. I was
yeah.
waiting for you to touch on that.
So if you ever pull that switch out of the closet after it's been sitting in there for a long time, and you want to add it into something, and you open and you fire it up, and you see that it's revision 39, right? Or whatever number it is. You can actually change the revision number by changing the domain name and then come back and change the domain name to whatever it's supposed to be actually. And that will reset the revision number.
So if you reset the VTP domain name on the switch, it resets the revision number.
Yeah. So if this, what I got highlighted right here,
mm-hmm.
if this revision was sitting on 10, like I said, it was on 10. It was taken out of service and put into a closet somewhere to collect dust. And then for some reason it was brought back out to be redeployed, and you see it sitting on 10. So where I came from and where it was text of colors with an S, then how you reset that is you come back and you change text of colors to text of color. It's a different domain name just for that one character change. Mm. And what that will do is that will actually change the actual revision itself. You got me?
And then could you add it back and then
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So if the original text of color was the original VTP domain, I can change the name to Dum Dum. Right? Mm-hmm. Let the change happen and then come back and change it to tech of color. And you know what? I still got that wrong. Did I get tech of color?
Yeah, it's text of color. So yeah, forgot the S after tech.
Tech, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
So let me go ahead and, because now you got me. Now I'm self-conscious of what I put the other ones at. Which, if they're the same way, then did I lock up? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so you see there's no VLANs there. Just for giggle purposes, I want to make sure that tech of color. Yep, that's exactly what I did. So let me just do this.
There we go. My bad. I lost audio for a second.
Okay. You know, I ain't going to try to front. Let me open that up so I can.
Like we're troubleshooting. There we go.
I can spell.
So this is the only switch with a different name?
Well, I only did 2 of them, SW12
Okay.
and SW8. So,
okay.
Yeah, because I'm actually keeping a track on a little notepad on my end as far as the switches that I've touched.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Claude.
You don't have to put name. You can just put VTP domain.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Okay, I'm going to show you something. So before, you see this here revision number?
Yeah.
All right. So I knew I had a bad name, right? I had to put the S in there. So when like I said earlier, when you want to reset the revision number, make the change, right? Where here I corrected the name and see what the revision did. It took it back to 0. You follow me? So if you ever get a switch and you want to make sure that revision is back 0 so it doesn't jam up any VLANs that's already in production, change that domain name to something and then change it back. You follow me? That was an actual real world situation right here that I just did.
Hold on.
And because of that, I want to check switch number 12 just to see if I
to reset. VTP revisions. Number.
Okay, there I got text of color. All right, so that one's good. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, does this, Dave, when I come off of a CLI, did I actually get rid of it? Did I do that?
Hold on, let me take control. I got you.
Okay.
Background. Well, I think
or is it hiding somewhere?
Yeah, it's hiding. Hold on. There we go. Let me just highlight. And you need which one you need?
That distro? Yeah, there you go. I threw a generic name on that distro one. Okay, there we go.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create our VLANs. All right.
On the distro?
Yeah, on the distro. And when I get done, I'm going to verify the distro's VLANs. And there's going to be maybe a minute or two before those VTP frames are pushed out to the switches that have been changed to clients. All right.
Claude, one second. Let me restart the capture. Hold on.
Well, you want to wait until after I create, or you just want to run it?
Yeah, I just want to run it.
Okay.
So then it could just go ahead and capture.
You said push when the distro pushes out the frames.
The VTP frame. Yep.
Okay. And that.
All right, Claude, you all good?
Okay.
And when you say the VTP frames, Are you talking about the frames that are being pushed through the through the VLAN?
It's the VTP frame that talks about the VLANs. That's the best way to describe it. Okay. So the VTP frame is going out to the clients, and in that VTP frame is talking about the VLANs. What happens is the client realizes that, okay, I'm in client mode and my revision probably is inferior. So I'm going to listen to this here server's VTP frame coming in and change and add the VLANs that he has. Does that make sense?
Oh, so the frames are being pushed are the configs about the VLAN?
The same VLANs that you guys created manually.
Right.
You will see that these two switches that I created as clients, those same VLANs that y'all guys typed in manually are just going to pop up.
Okay, so when you talking about pushing the VLANs, you said, the server, which will be the distro, it'll push out the VTP frames, aka the configs, and the VTP clients, which is access switches. It will adopt those configurations.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And Claude, I'll go ahead and break it down.
Okay.
Hopefully I can help break it down while you're configuring. So Twan, so with Claude changing those access layer switches into client mode, right? These access switches are always and only in listening mode for VTP traffic. Okay. And it's along with, again, CDP, VTP, DTP, and other layer 2 control traffic, right? And it's only going to listen for VTP frames from that server for that domain. It will never broadcast any new VLAN configuration. Now, switches that are participating has a server within a VTP topology. They're going to be listening and they're going to be advertising those VTP configurations, right? So any new change is going to be pushed out. Those clients, they're just going to be listening.
So it makes sense. I just wanted to just clarify with another question. So if you make the access switches or configure it to be VTP clients, correct? And you just leave it be. And then you create all the VLANs on what is configured to be the VTP server.
Mm-hmm.
When they push out the VTP frames to the VTP clients, will they automatically receive those configurations of VLANs that were created on the VTP server?
Exactly, right? And so what happens is it's going to receive, and the switch is smart enough to go ahead and receive those VTP frames, look at the bit value that's changed, and it's going to change. It's a file called VLAN.dat file that every Cisco switch has, and it's going to change that VLAN.dat file per that VTP receipt up from that VTP server. Any changes, it's going to change that VLAN.dat file. That's going to happen on the background.
Okay. So I have a question, please. So
Yeah,
even existing on a client mode, on a client switch, which is on VTP mode, if it has an existing VLANs, what happens when it receives the VLANs from the server? Does it delete the existing VLANs, or you're just going to add the VLANs from the server to itself?
No, that's a good question. We can go ahead and replicate that. I want to say yes, but
what did he?
What
I did. What was the? I wasn't paying attention. What did he? Yeah.
Yeah. So his question was: let's say we have a. Hold on, Claude. Let me take control a sec.
Okay. All right.
Claude, my bad. You were trying to open
good.
something. Switch 8. You trying to open Switch 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. You already have Switch 8 open. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. So his question was, right, if we have an access layer switch already, before we made it into a VTP client, we went ahead and we configured some VLANs on it. Now, right, we configured VLANs, but we changed it to client mode within the VTP topology, and we connected it to a server. His question is, and again, I wanted to either we can recreate it or and wait for next session. I know we're coming up on time, but what will happen when it connects to the server and receives that VTP traffic? Will it delete the existing VLANs and just take only that those VLAN configurations from the server, or will it keep the
and what merge them? Yeah. So if you got VLAN 1, 2, 3 created on the switch, and then you make it a client, and it takes a VTP frame from the distro that has VLANs 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3 is about to get wiped out. Does that make sense?
It makes sense now, because I was kind of confused. Maybe it's gonna update itself or just gonna wipe itself out.
Yeah, what it's gonna update with the new information coming in from the distro that has 10, 20, 30. And in that VLAN DAT file coming from the distro, there will not be a VLAN 1, 2, and 3. So therefore, the client's going to make itself identical.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And it's going to erase the it's going to erase the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, let me see what we got here.
And we got the password configure on both sides.
That's what I'm wondering now. If I went to, let's see, distro.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Sure. When I was learning about VTP, and I did a few VTP labs before, they never suggested putting a VTP password on there. What is the purpose of the password?
Oh man, yes, Claude. Ooh, let me get that one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I'm not sure why they didn't advise that.
On the labs that I did, I think it was just trying to give us, a basic overview of VTP. So I didn't even know anything about the revision number. I just knew, like he said, the 3 modes and what they did and how it worked. So
no, all good. So let's go back to the example of when I brought down the hospital, right?
Right.
If there was a password in their topology, in their layer 2 topology, when I added that switch, I would have done no damage.
Okay, I got you now.
Because it had to authenticate first.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And so without any authentication, I went ahead and brought London Bridge down. So if you are going to implement VTP, go ahead and throw in a password, 100%.
All right, thank you. Because like I said, the video series that I watched, like I think it was more of a surface level type thing, and he never mentioned the VTP password. So
no, it makes sense if you're doing basic configs trying to bring it up, but as far as and we're engineers, right? We're engineers now, so we want to go ahead and make sure we harden our network as much as possible. Due to today, I mean, we without getting too high, right, and too much on my high horse, but. And I'm sure Brian knows this, him being a security guy. Right now, it's not like the old days where we can just secure the network at the perimeter with just a firewall. That shit is dead. Excuse my language. So, you can bring an IoT device in. Somebody can bring their own laptop into the network and crush everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is why you have to secure everything inside and outside and at the perimeter.
They do that all day, especially when it comes to putting these external hard drives and stuff from one computer to the next, like from their own personal device to their work device. Yeah, stuff gets sticky real quick.
That's the reason why, at my job at least, like they have the AV, they shut down the use of USB ports, so you can't just plug and play.
Well, see, that's the difference with us, like being in a government environment. We have for the company I work for, we contract for usage. So what we do is, well, which is United States Army Corps of Engineers, what we do is make sure that they're able to use their computers with USBs, because the company actually has a program where they provide some employees with an external hard drive, which I have one. So I've came up on a couple of reports by plugging that device into my computer, but it's authorized device. So the only thing they're going to do is send me an email like, hey, look, well, shoot, it'll be my own team that asks me. So, so they'll pretty much message me like, hey, look, is this your authorized device or not? Just for documentation, they'll put it on the case. But yeah, it's a real thing. Like people get flagged all the time for it. And it's up to us to verify and confirm if it's legit or it's your personal or if it's a usage issue.
So it's monitored, and there's a program or app that monitors so when you plug it in, somebody gets an alert saying, "Oh, well, that's you plugging in this external hard drive at this time, Brian?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is we actually reach out to the local PC techs, and then we'll have them to run AV on it, and then kind of run other scans to see, hey, look, is this file still on this person's PC? If it is, get rid of it. If we need to quarantine it or even contain the device. Like I've had one guy just recently where I had to flag his device and have it contained because he had hacking tools on the computer. And yeah, that's a no-go. That had to go. So we completely wiped this entire computer. Whatever you had on there is gone. You starting from a brand new computer. So that's how that works. And which that could possibly lead to termination because them kind of tools you ain't supposed to have at all.
Right. Right.
All right, so what Dave's doing is he's trunking the connections between the distro and the two switches, access layer switches here.
Okay. So all the interface connected to the distro must be in trunk mode to be able to receive VTP VLANs.
There you go. Yep. Good eye, Dave. Good eye, Dave. Yeah. So you see those two switches 8 and 12, they now have the VLANs that were created, that you guys manually created, but they were also created on the distro and pushed out over the trunk, pushed out over the trunk to create the new VLANs.
Right.
On the actual.
And guys, no, go ahead, Twan. Sorry.
Oh no. That was I was just finishing or trying to at least. I wanted to see if I was right. So it pushes it out, and now switch 8 and switch 12 have the VLANs that we created.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Because one piece, right? We configured everything correctly on each device, each host, but the one piece that we're missing, right? And I'm stepping out of the customer role right now. The one piece that we're missing that's right in front of our eyes, which is a fundamental point, is that within the term VLAN trunking protocol, we never created a trunk. How is it supposed to, how is the server switch or the client switches able to pass that, trunking information, that VLAN information, if we don't even create a trunk?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
So,
okay.
Makes sense, right?
So in those instances, right?
Right.
Do you create it would be on a distro where you would configure an interface as the trunking port?
Are you asking me or you're telling me?
excuse me, I didn't mean to ask the client that.
Yes. The trunk has to be created. Now, by default, if you would on that CLI on that distro, if you would put show VTP interface, you will find that VTP frames can go out on all the, by default, they're going to go out on all the ports. It's enabled for all the ports. So if for, you really want to get real surgical on it, you can actually cut down VTP traffic to a specific port if you want to. Okay. And as you see here, there's some pruning that can be done on this trunk because right now it's wide open for all the VLANs. Where you see that says VLANs allowed on trunk, it's letting them all. It's letting all of them come through. Okay. So in the pruning process, you can prune VTP. You can prune VTP as far as the interfaces that are sending it out. With the trunk, you can prune it down to the VLANs that you want specifically to travel across a given trunk. Okay, in our case, it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 99 instead of 1 through 4,096. You follow me?
Oh, wow. I didn't. So, okay. So ultimately, when you configure it, you still have to trim everything down. But when you trim everything down, does it improve?
It cuts down on a lot of unnecessary traffic.
Okay, that's all I want.
Yeah. And it's best practices. You'll find it to be best practices out in the world where, you trim the unnecessary fat.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, write that down. And just to also just to clarify, pardon myself. The higher the revision number,
that has the superior VTP frames.
Okay.
So the higher the revision number, that's the switch that's going to pretty much dictate to the clients, this is what we're going to change to if you don't already have it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And to negate that high rev number, you remember how to reset it back to 0?
By changing the VTP domain name on the switch.
Yeah.
There we go. Exactly. So,
yep.
And we're gonna close up shop. I just wanted to, give you guys this little nugget. I know, some folks, are studying for the CCNA, CCNP, and, want to create some labs and stuff like that. So to bring concept along with theory, right? What I did back in the day whenever I was studying for my CCNA, CCNP, and stuff is that I create my own little labs. I know we have this nice topology here, right? It looks fancy, it looks complex. But if my only goal is just to get the proof of concept of how something works, like VTP, I only need 2 or 3 switches. Simple as that. And I can put it in here or packet tracer and just follow the path of a packet and just make sure that everything is happening has the book theorized, right? Quick thing I want you guys, if you guys do dig into Eve or GNS3, I want you guys to start practicing being in Wireshark to get used to looking at how traffic looks, right? And so I think it was Twan I was explaining to. So remember I told you that the client switch will always just be in receiving mode for in the VTP topology?
Yes.
So it's never gonna go ahead and send any of this traffic out, right? It's only gonna request for traffic, and this is where we get our advertisement requests. And that's where it's coming from us, right? And getting shot up to that next switch, right? That destination being that distro switch. And we're just saying, hey, text of colors, VTP server, what's the latest and greatest information of VLANs, right? And it's always going to populate I believe it's every 30 seconds, you know, a summary advisement, you know, advertisement, and you're going to see information about the VLANs, any changes. And it's first you're going to send that summary advisement, then it's going to send that subset advertisement saying each individual information about each VLAN that was created. Default VLAN 1 that can never be deleted, native VLAN, exec, right? And gives us all that information. And I implore you guys to look into all this whenever you guys are studying, so that you can put you can see this with yourself, see how it works, see how traffic is passing through the wire. And so that when you're on the exam and you get a question about something like this, you understand truly how it works, not just the theory, just by reading or doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
Yes, it makes sense.
Cool. Well, with that being said, I know we went over time, but no worries. This was good discussion. Next, what we're going to do, the next session, we're probably going to finish out doing building 1. Sorry, I didn't put the label, but this side is building 1, this side is building 2. And the customer, and I'm working as one of the employees now, the customer let us know that he wants us to make sure that we have our spanning tree configuration configured, and that we configured properly his multicast environment. Okay, so look up some stuff about layer 2 multicast. If you don't fully understand it, at least try, and we can have a discussion. We're gonna have to do some stuff in spanning tree, but Claude and the seniors will go ahead and finish out configuring the VTP topology. But yeah, you guys are next up for the other layer 2 technologies, okay?
All right, and the next time that we're gonna meet to do this lab will be next Wednesday.
You got it.
Okay.
All right.
You got it. Any questions, fellas? You know, I know this was a lot. Good stuff by all y'all. This is good questions too.
What I wanted to know, that's why I forgot to ask you guys. If one of, like, just say one of the access switch goes down, right? Because I know we've configured this for redundancy, but is there any redundancy for the access switches? That makes any sense?
Yeah. So here's the thing. You let me see. I think I have a copy of. No, I do not. I thought I had a copy of that topology. But here's the thing. If an access switch goes down on that, what they call the edge, on that far edge, if that access switch goes down, all the hosts on that access switch will be hosed, looking at this topology. So like one of the switches that you guys configured, like a top switch number 1, number 9, 7, if that switch power supply goes out, all the hosts on that switch are hosed. Now, here's the thing. Let's say power supply goes out on the primary distro switch 20, okay, which is basically the orange links. You see that? What'll happen is traffic will then try to find its way, and it's going to mosey its way on down. It's going to go through the routing tables and all that good stuff. And it's going to realize that distro switch 19 is available. So it's going to start going through the pink links. You follow me? To get to the core.
Right.
So if power supply goes out in either one of the distros, then the other distro will continue to pick up that traffic, because each access switch has a redundant link to the other distro switch, represented by the orange and the pink. Now, if both distro switches go down, that building's hosed. You follow me?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. But in any event, the switch should have God dang it, like a backup battery backup, like UPS.
Some of these access switches, some of these switches today actually have dual power supplies, redundant power supplies in them. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jermaine, Dave, I know y'all probably seen some stuff that's a little bit more recent than what I've seen. But like even here in my lab, I got old 3750s and 2950s. Those are just single power supplies. If they go down, boom, that's it. But like, for example, some of the 3850 switches, they actually have dual power supplies. Some of the Meraki MS250s, the MS250 I know for a fact has a dual power supply. So if both of the power supplies are up at all given times, but if one goes down, the other one continues to keep the things running. So depending on, again, the type of budget client has, they can buy that type of hardware.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, newer models run on will do dual supply, power supplies.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And again, that's only for power, right? If we have a software failure, right, that's legit toast. I mean, we got to RMA that bad boy. I mean, there's nothing power. There's nothing power can do.
Right.
Right. So if software just, Twan, if software just hogs up, it's gonna, all your clients are gonna lose access, right? But and again, I apologize that we didn't make it clear in this diagram, and I'll find out. Again, I'm still new to E Pro, but I'll find out the option. But typically, every 2 switches, and we're doing 3 floors. So every 2 switches typically is for each floor. So there's redundancy there, right? So we're fine, right? We're typically fine. And me speaking as a customer now, we're typically fine. So that's what we were able to get. What Claude explained earlier with the insurance claim is that we were able to get even more switches.
Yeah.
You said east, so every 2 switches is 1 floor.
Yep, every 2 switches is 1 floor. So before we only had 1 switch for each floor. Now we have 2 switches for each floor.
2 switches for each floor. Okay. I guess my last question would be, let me see. Let me just say it. Where your closets? So where would be the core and the distros be housed in, and where would your I guess your IDFs, like where would you pretty much where your closets would be, because you said that 2 switches is a floor. So would there be a closet on each floor?
So right now we're just looking at the physical design, right?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
We're looking at the physical design. So we're looking at wiring, we're looking at everything. We're not looking at the building, right? We're not looking at the actual logical design, right? Okay. Right. So typically, and this is where, right, we talked about roles and what have you, right? The senior already has the building layout built out, right? So I don't want you to get too tied up on where's the IDF, where's the MDF in this lab that we're doing. Mm-hmm. I want you to worry about the technologies that we're going over.
Okay.
Okay. So focus on that. This is a made up scenario. We don't have to real world worry about where the IDF. You'll be told that whenever you get in the field. I'm sure you've been told it already. You being an engineer already in the field, but right now, don't worry about where the IDF is. Your senior engineer, Claude and Jermaine, they already got all that information. They're just telling you, hey, you're the engineer. I need you to configure this. Go to this switch. Here it is. boom, and configure it. That's legit it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all guys did wonderful tonight.
Yeah, man. Y'all, yeah, this was good. I got to tell you, this was good questions, for real. Good questions, for real, for real. So, and like I said, I'm going to break stuff again. So, and like I said, in the background, me and Claude is going to go ahead and, finish up configuring the VTP topology at layer 2 on both buildings. And then I'm going to have, next Wednesday, you guys are going to go ahead and jump into configuring that spanning tree for me. And what else did I say, Claude? Spanning tree and what else?
Cast.
Multicast. Yep, sure did.
Multicast. Yes, yeah. And so this time, Claude is going to give y'all what to configure. And y'all going to configure it. So no more hand-holding this time. Now, if you need a breakdown, we're going to show you how to, gather your info and go ahead and reach out to your senior. Make sense? So y'all do y'all research on spanning tree, get in packet tracer, learn, relearn stuff about it. But we about to have a ball. We about to do some path through packet.
You said layer 2 multicast, right?
Yeah, dog.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I gotta add something else in there too. My bad. Everybody can thank Brian for reminding me. I'm gonna add. I need y'all to configure QoS as well. Sorry, not sorry.
QoS.
QoS and layer 2.
Yep.
Damn. Okay.
Well, on that note, fellas, man, y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to y'all next week.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right.
Now.